exaggerating and embellishing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your...
I also want to
hands up.
Specifically how many of our ICE agents have been docked.
On the ground. Hands behind your back.
If you don't my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording loud out here. I do not know.
That man on the floor is California Democratic Senator Alex Padilla, an elected official forcibly removed, shoved to the ground, and then handcuffed after interrupting a briefing with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and the press. A DHS spokesman said the Secret Service agents thought he was an attacker and, quote, acted appropriately. Noem later added in an interview that she spoke with Padilla for 15 minutes after the incident and told him no one realized who he was when he, quote, created a scene. You do, however, hear Padilla several times identify himself very clearly in that video as a senator. In his own press conference after his removal, Padilla said he was there peacefully to ask a question.
I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
In a moment, we're going to go live to the streets of Los Angeles to see what's going on there. But let's begin with NewsNation's Joe Khalil live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, I know you and I have both been parts of lots of press conferences on Capitol Hill and in state capitals around the nation. Having people come in and heckle or interrupt is a very common occurrence. I don't think I've ever seen something like that happen. I don't know if you have either, but there's unsurprisingly, a real partisan divide in the reaction today on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, maybe the only thing not shocking about this situation is that it is falling along party lines, how you interpret it, which is unfortunate. But there are very few things these days, Elizabeth, in Congress that really shock people and make the whole day sort of stop. But that's exactly what happened today. Almost immediately, you had the entire California delegation come out on the steps of the Capitol and demand something happen about this. There was frustration seeing the video, seeing a U.S. senator actually being pushed out and put on the ground and handcuffed. It really shook people, I think, in a way that, maybe we didn't expect. So what Democrats generally were saying about this was they felt like it was a symptom of a larger problem. Some Democrats described it as the administration leaning into authoritarianism. I know Republicans will disagree strongly with that, but that was a sentiment we got from a couple of Democrats today that we talked to. Take a listen. Here's just two that you'll recognize.
You think this has a chilling effect on other Democrats who may want to ask questions or show up at events like this?
It's certainly intended to have a chilling effect. A senator trying to do the work of a senator gets handcuffed and thrown to the ground. Of course it has a chilling effect. That's the whole intent here.
This is not going to end until there is accountability and until the Trump administration changes its behavior. This administration is not about law and order. It's about lawlessness and disorder. And that's what we've seen from day one of the Trump administration.
Elizabeth, we've heard Secretary Noem say the senator was in the wrong here, that he was not invited to this press conference. He showed up unannounced and then tried to shout a question. She condemned that. And we've heard several other Republicans, most prominently Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, also take that same tack in response to the video. This is what he said today.
What I saw was agents asking him to quieten down so that the secretary could continue her press conference. He refused to do so. What were they supposed to do? They have to restrain someone who is engaged in that kind of behavior. They moved him out of the room.
Threw him to the ground, handcuffed him.
A sitting member of Congress should not act like that. It is beneath a member of Congress. It is beneath a U.S. Senator.
So, Elizabeth, we were asking, what does accountability look like? Democrats demanding accountability. They told us at the very least they want to see an investigation here in the halls of Congress on this incident. The problem with that is Republicans control Congress, and it's very unlikely they will launch any kind of actual investigation or probe into the scenes that you are seeing here today.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.